This is WRAL News, your #1 source for local news.
We are watching severe weather moving across our area, and it is packing strong winds and hail. We have numerous reports of damage across several counties. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Catherine Brown. We're keeping an eye on how fast it's moving on our radar. Our meteorologists are teaming up to make sure you know what to expect, and our breaking news tracker is also out on the road monitoring conditions there. Let's go first to WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Mike.
Well, Catherine, these storms are moving quickly, anywhere from 45 to as fast as 60 miles per hour. This is the time lapse over the past hour, and you can see how quickly it's moving through. Now, these are some serious storms because we've had numerous reports of wind damage off to the west, even in our local area, too. Let me stop the time lapse, and I will show you a closer view of what's going on. In fact, I think a new warning is coming down for Chatham County because the old warning was set to expire at 4 o'clock. And yes, they have issued a new warning for Chatham and Wake until 4:45. We'll outline that in a moment. But numerous warnings from Halifax County over in Roanoke Rapids area through Halifax County, Northampton County, Nash County, Franklin County. We see the leading edge of the strong storms moving into your vicinity. The potential with these storms here is winds up to about 60 miles per hour and nickel-size hail. These rapidly moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. Let's pan a little bit farther to the south and to the west. Now Wake County, we'll do the aerial outline, and it looks from Holly Springs through just near Clayton, all the way up to Rocky Mount. That's the leading edge of the warning. This warning is in effect until 4:45. The strongest of the winds that we've seen out of the system have been over Chatham County, Orange County, Alamance County, and points westward. In fact, I want to jump over to the velocities. We use this information to see the movement of the raindrops within a thunderstorm. And the data, let me see if I can get it to come back up, is not showing up. But we are seeing winds aloft in this region here near Farrington Village and Jordan Lake and back to Pittsboro up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. This is where the strongest winds have been. This is where a lot of the wind damage has been. And right now I'm going to toss it over to Kat Campbell. She's going to outline the damage reports. They've been quite numerous, and also the watch that's in effect as well. Kat?
Right, and we've seen some damage already in Chapel Hill on Franklin Street at Plant Road. They have had reports of some power lines down on that road, so that could certainly cause some issues as you're trying to get home this evening. A number of storm reports, and if you look, they are all these blue diamonds, and that is wind damage reports. We've had them in Person County today, also in Granville County, Durham County, Orange County, as well as Chatham County so far as these storms continue to push east. Here's some of the storm reports that have stood out to me so far today. In Chapel Hill, we do have a report of a tree down on a house in Chapel Hill. That happened around 3:30. Also a report from Person County of a tree down on a house near Chambers Loop Road near Riverbend Way. We have a number of reports of trees down in downtown Durham as well this afternoon. And these storms will continue to move east, likely producing more wind damage as they do so. So please, if you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, keep in mind that you'll want to seek shelter in a sturdy structure. A severe thunderstorm watch does remain in effect for our entire viewing area. This is until 10 o'clock tonight, mainly due to the potential for damaging wind gusts as well as the threat of some hail. And we're going to talk more about the timeline hour by hour for when these storms finally clear out coming up in the full forecast.
Kat, thank you. And just within the past 5 minutes, we got an update on power outages. Right now, Person County has 3,500 power outages. Granville County has 3,600. We're continuing to monitor these as these storms move across our area.
Yeah, about 26,000 across the entire state. You can keep the latest forecast at your fingertips with the WRAL weather app. You can receive alerts for watches and warnings in your area. It's available for free for Apple and Android devices. With more stormy weather expected tonight, we want to see what's happening in your neighborhood. If you see damage, take pictures and video of it when it is safe and send it to us. You can do that on WRAL.com and the WRAL Weather Facebook page.
Well, now is the time to look at the trees in your yard, perhaps not right this second, but after these storms pass, you may be missing signs of trouble. Tonight at 6 o'clock, 5 on your signs, Monica La Liberty shows us 8 signs to look for and how to tell if a tree like this really looks like this on the inside. It's information that will help you before the next severe storm. That story tonight at 6 o'clock on WRAL.
And Monica Liberty in the Live Center. We're just getting some video in. I saw this on Twitter. Just take a look at the storm moving through Wake Forest right now. Look at that pounding wind and rain. This sent to us on Twitter by Johnny Gatlin. Again, in Wake Forest, just moving through, sent to us within the last 10 minutes. And if you want to get an idea of some of the problems already being caused, this is from Greensboro. Look at the house there that sliced right through that home. That's just one of multiple pictures Here's another one with a house in Greensboro where the tree already fallen on the home. That is just the start of it. We are keeping tabs on this. Also, I know Kat just gave us some information about damage. We have a little bit more here in Durham. Lots of problems reported in the northern part of the county there. A tree on a house on Sherrill Avenue. That road now closed. A house on Country Club Drive as well. A tree on there. A structure collapse potentially reported on Hugo Street. And then again, as Kat mentioned, in Granville County, they're reporting trees down everywhere. That's a quote from them, the emergency management there. And the worst area they are saying is an area near Stovall, North Carolina, NC Highway 15. And they say Stovall is completely closed because of trees being down. We're keeping an eye on it. We'll get back to you with more information just as soon as we get it.
All right, Monica, thank you. We have our crews out there watching the roads in Wake County.
WRAL's Julian Grace is in our breaking news tracker watching the roads in Wake County. Julian?
Yes, that's right. We're on Western Boulevard. We just passed Varsity, and this is what we're looking at right now. Cloudy skies, as you see, as we're heading down Western Boulevard. We are headed to Granville County, where there are reports of a number of trees down. We're working to try to get additional details about exactly what else people are seeing there on the ground. But as you see on Western Boulevard right now, cloudy skies. We're heading into the storm's direction, and we're still working to get details about those trees that are down. In fact, we're told that emergency services crews, they were not able to talk to us, a spokesperson, because they are so busy in Granville County. So that is the direction that we're headed in. This is what you see right now on Western Boulevard as we get prepared to jump on 440. Catherine and Gerald.
All right, Julian, you guys be safe out there. Thank you for that update.
We want to go to the phone now. We have Doug Logan from Granville County Emergency Management with us. Doug, tell us about the situation in your county right now.
Hi, good afternoon. When the storms came through, obviously we was pretty sudden. We started to receive multiple calls across the county from the Virginia line down to the Butner area, which is pretty much north to south of Granville County, of trees down, wrapped up in power lines. We do have multiple fire departments and emergency crews out currently assessing any particular damage, trying to open up roads where possible. NCDOT is also being contacted, and they are out and about. Currently don't have a good handle as to the magnitude right now, but we are assessing the damage. Our 911 center has been pretty much slammed with calls and reports of trees down and power lines and power outages as such. So we would certainly ask that our citizens, anyone that is able to see or hear this message, just stay inside, stay off the roads for the next couple of hours until we can see exactly the full extent where all the trees and lines are down.
Yeah, Doug, when someone from our assignment desk was talking to you within the past hour or so, you told them it's pretty much every which way in the county, haven't pinned down exact locations there. That's still the case? You're still continuing to get these calls in?
We are. The calls actually are starting to slow down as the storm continues to pass over. I believe it looks like outside right now, my office, the rain has ceased. I'm actually getting ready to head out in the field and go to a couple of the locations that seem a little bit more severe. But right now, we still have multiple reports across the county.
All right, Doug. Well, listen, we wish you the best. Thank you very much for giving us a call. And all the viewers that we have in Granville County, they just heard your voice, so let's hope they take heed. Doug Logan, thank you.
We thank you.
I want to head south a little bit. Sarah Kruger is in Durham, where, Sarah, we understand a tree is down on some power lines.
Catherine, exactly. Just within the last 3 minutes here, we have gotten to Sherrill Avenue, which is just across from Eno Valley Elementary. Let me show you what we're seeing here. First of all, this power pole is down at an angle here. You can see wires down everywhere. Behind that, there is a tree that is just demolished back there. And I was just speaking with a firefighter on the scene here who says what they believe, and this is still very preliminary, is that perhaps lightning struck that tree back there, and then one of the falling branches caused this telephone pole or this power pole to come down along with that. So I am told that some of the houses here on Sherrill Avenue are without power. Just coming down here by Eno Valley Elementary, I also noticed some of the stoplights are without power. We have seen some neighbors who are out and about. You can see them here coming outside to see what is going on. For right now, I'm told that the power crews are on the way out here to try and fix all of this. But until that happens, we are staying put. No one is advised to cross any of these power lines. But the first damage that we are seeing out here in Durham, we're going to keep following this damage and other reports of damage throughout the city. Catherine.
All right. We will check back in with you shortly. Sarah Kruger live in Durham. Sarah, thank you.
I want to go just a short ways away to Chapel Hill. Rosalia Federa is there checking on the weather conditions and any damage that they may have seen. Rosalia, what are you seeing out there?
Gerald, it's sort of a mess driving around Chapel Hill right now because a lot of these street lights on Franklin Street are out. But I want to take you to this tree behind me. It actually fell on some power lines. This is down Franklin Street right near Estates Drive. You can see that tree as I'm zooming in right there, and it fell on those power lines. Now, it's not on Franklin Street. That tree is on Plant Road, but it knocked down those power lines. You can see them right there at the bottom of your screen. And so these lines are across Franklin Street, and that is why this portion of the road is closed. I talked to an officer on scene here, and he tells me they're just waiting for Duke Energy to come out here and remove these lines so they could reopen the road. But this is Franklin Street from Estates Drive near Plant Road. This is where they're turning traffic around. Back to you.
Rosalia, quick question. When we spoke with Sarah just a couple minutes ago, she said that the damage she was seeing was pretty isolated to that area. What are you seeing as you are driving around Chapel Hill? Are you seeing more situations like this?
Not necessarily big trees down or power lines down. This is the first real major damage I've seen. But again, those streetlights were all out. I don't know if it's because of this specific power line or if there's another one down in the city somewhere, but there is that impact to traffic. And again, just want to remind everybody, because I did see some cars not do this, when you get to one of those intersections, if you're heading out, treat it like a four-way stop and make sure you stop and look before you go through that light. But Catherine, I'm going to keep driving around to see if there is anything else that would be impacting people. If you live in Chapel Hill, Orange County, you can tweet me at WRAL Rosalia, and I will be sure to check out that damage. Back to you.
All right, Rosalia Federa, checking out the situation in Chapel Hill. Stay safe out there, and we'll check back in with you soon. And
speaking of Chapel Hill, we're going to take a live look outside now as our crews move their way around Chapel Hill. Well, this is from our tower camera there. Right there, you can see the rain has subsided, and that's a good thing right there by the university. We're going to continue to follow our weather news. We've got you covered from north to south all across the viewing area. And of course, our meteorologists are in the Weather Center checking for the latest watches and warnings. You're watching WRAL News. Back now on WRAL, you're seeing the rain pounding the camera there near North Hills in Raleigh. You are watching our severe weather coverage here on WRAL. There's a line of thunderstorms stretching from Raleigh north to the Virginia border. It's going to be a busy day for us here.
All right, I want to go to the phones now, and Rand Northam, a communications specialist with the city of Chapel Hill, is on the phone. Rand, thank you so much. I know you were very busy. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us. Can you tell us describe the situation there right now for us?
Absolutely. So we had that quick line of storms that came through, and the biggest impact that we're seeing right now is actually a road closure. Franklin Street, East Franklin Street, is completely closed at Plant Road, and to let everybody know where that might be, that's just south or just southwest of Estes Drive. So Estes Drive remains open, and you can utilize MLK or Fordham Boulevard to get around that closure. And if people are heading eastbound on East Franklin Street, then you'll be turned around probably about Boundary Street in that area. So that's just leaving the downtown area and heading up towards that eastern port of the town. We've also got a couple other trees that are down Cynthia Road, and that's a significant tree, and that's going to take some long time, but thankfully no immediate hazards. Also one down at Roosevelt, which is actually just south of that Plant Road closure, but that's just off the road of Franklin Street, so not causing any issues on Franklin Street. The downed trees took down power lines in that area around Plant Road, so right now we've got some outages along the Estes Drive corridor, and that's actually affecting our police station right now too. So we don't have any power and no phones actually because the generator wasn't able to kick on at the police station. So we're asking for no non-emergency calls to be coming in and any emergency calls to go directly to 911 right now.
And that's any anticipation as to when you might get those phones back up and running, Rand?
So we are working with the generator company and trying to get that generator to kick back on right now because the full power is dependent upon when Duke Energy can get into town for us. So we do not have an ETA on that. We're hoping to get the generator up and running here fairly quickly. And our social media has been very active, as it always is, at Chapel Hill PD. We will update those who are on Twitter and on Facebook with that same handle and let people know when those phones are back up and running.
And Rand, very quickly before we let you go, no reports of any injuries yet, correct?
I have not received any reports of injuries directly affected with this storm right now. We're getting a number of calls that are coming in, sick calls and people who have fallen, kind of normal calls, but there's nothing that I can directly attribute to the storm as of right now.
All right, well, we hope that continues, certainly. And thank you again for taking a few minutes to update us. We do appreciate it, Rand.
You bet it. Thank you.
Let's go over to Mike Mage now in the Weather Center. Mike, we see that line of storms moving very rapidly right now, which is a good thing in this situation, I would think.
Right, yeah, it's going to come really hard, quick, and then move on. And we've seen a lot of reports of damage off to our west and in parts of our viewing area. What I'm going to do right now is show what's happening and what will likely happen in the future and run through the warnings as well. We have new warnings that just came down for Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax County expiring at 5 o'clock. So at least between now and 5 o'clock, parts of our viewing area will be under severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, you can notice for yourself that it's mainly from Raleigh northward that we're seeing these warnings. So far, not much happening in our southern counties, but I believe that's going to change. Let me stop the time lapse, and I'm going to pan off to the west, and we're seeing new activity developing off to our west from Charlotte up to Salisbury. This is moving due east, so I think over time, this is eventually going to make its way to Moore County, Lee County, Harnett County, our southern viewers. So don't think you're going to miss out on this. I think this is all going to fill in. We're going to see the same kind of wind damage out of this, and it will, over the next couple of hours, make its way into our southern county. So right now, you guys are okay, but I think that's going to change over the next couple of hours. So let's run through the warnings, and these are the new ones. And the leading edge of the strongest winds right now are moving through Northampton and Halifax counties. And what we're talking about is winds up to 70 miles per hour, and that's the potential. We're seeing some wind damage coming out of these storms up here in Roanoke Rapids and over Warren County. Reports of trees down. If you're watching from Roanoke Rapids, you're getting hit mighty hard right now. And over in the eastern part of Northampton County and the eastern part of Halifax County, I'd say within the next 20 minutes, you're going to get hammered as well. The potential 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, small hail the size of nickels, very heavy rainfall, and frequent lightning strikes. The bottom line is you need to stay inside until this passes. Now, as we get farther to the south and west, Franklin County, it looks like your warning has been dropped, but Nash County, you're in a warning. Again, that is until 5 o'clock. These storms, this line moving east at about 65 miles per hour. Wake County, at least from, say, about the northern part of the county, just south of Falls Lake, south to Garner, you're still in the warning. And this is the area that's had some of the strongest winds. And what I want to do is turn on the velocities and look inside the storm and see where the strongest winds are. Not quite as potent looking as it was, say, about 45 minutes ago, but the winds aloft at about 1,300 feet off the ground are coming in at 49, 57, 55 miles per hour. The possibility of these winds aloft could make their way down into the ground. If that's the possibility, that there could be some wind damage over into the eastern part of Chatham County and western Wake County. If you're watching from Mooresville, Apex, and Cary, this is going to be eventually moving into your vicinity. So that's the way the radar view is looking right now. Let's go back to the wide view. Let me shut that off, and we'll time lapse it once again. Then we're going to toss it over to Kat, and she's going to run through some of the other things going on in the forecast. But it's not done yet. We have that watch until 10 o'clock. Kat?
Right, and these storms still moving to the east right now, and keep in mind the entire viewing area is still under a severe thunderstorm watch. That watch lasts until 10 o'clock tonight, and it's not just North Carolina under this watch. Much of the southeast is under a severe thunderstorm watch this afternoon and evening. This is all ahead of a strong cold front that's going to be moving our way, moving through the area overnight, and that's going to bring in some milder weather for tomorrow. What's possible tonight, our main threat will remain damaging wind gusts, some isolated hail possible, as as well as a very, very small threat for tornadoes, but that threat for tornadoes is luckily starting to go down. This severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 o'clock. So let's run you through Futurecast, show you where we expect these storms to continue moving. You can see this line of storms getting closer to our northeastern cities in Halifax County as well as Northampton County. By 5:30, we could see a brief break in the rain for the Triangle, maybe some light rain, but we are going to be watching for that line of storms that Mike Mays was talking about just to our west, closer to Charlotte, to really fill in as it closes in on our southern cities between about 6 and 8 p.m. tonight. But between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., we expect most of the showers and storms to clear out. After that, temperatures fall into the low to mid 60s tonight for our northern communities, 70 degrees for a low in Fayetteville. Mostly sunny, less humid tomorrow. It will be a beautiful day tomorrow thanks to that drop in humidity. Not dealing with rain for your Friday, but we will have this small chance for some rain returning for the weekend forecast, and temperatures soar into the mid 90s next week. Monica?
Thanks, Kat. We are back in the live center with some viewer pictures being sent in of some of the damage. Wanted to show you this. This is Clarksville, Virginia, coming into North Carolina on Highway 49. Been hearing trees down across the road. Here's another look at that area there. Obviously, trees down causing a lot of problems. Also, viewers sending to WRL.com, there's a picture of the dark clouds. Lots of folks seeing. This is in Holly Springs, so the southern part of the county. So at a minimum, folks there are seeing the dark clouds. Casey Cunningham just tweeted this picture out. She said this is up in Wake Forest of the dark clouds there. And, you know, that's always so ominous for everyone. And, Kat, you were just talking about the storms that are in the Charlotte area and coming our way later. All of these pictures are from the Charlotte area. And we are seeing some up here is from on Huntersville Road in the Dallas area of North Carolina. Boy, and that is, as you just said, what's heading our way. Again, we are monitoring all of this that's coming into our newsroom. If you have video and pictures you want to share, go ahead and send them to us, and we will get them on the air. Back to you.
All right, Monica, thank you.
And coming up in just a moment, we're going to check in with Adam Owens. He's checking out road conditions in Raleigh. He's in our breaking news tracker. We'll have a report from him in just a couple minutes. We have you covered with the severe weather. This is a camera out of Rocky Mount. This is Rocky Mount Mills. You can see still raining there and a full blanket of clouds there over Rocky Mount. Back now on WRL in our coverage of severe weather. WRL's Adam Owens is in the breaking news tracker. He is in Raleigh and Glenwood Avenue. Adam, what are you seeing out there as you drive around that part of Raleigh?
Well, we're coming into the Crabtree Valley area, and there's a lot of traffic as there tends to be around this time of the evening, Gerald. And there's at times pretty heavy rain. We've already seen two cars that have slid into each other. That was in a particularly heavy moment when a lot of rain was coming down. People are either going the speed limit or slightly below, I think, because of the changing conditions and the ominous looking skies that we're experiencing. Just take it easy out there, because while it may be light rain in one given moment, it gets very heavy in the next. Back to you.
Adam, just a quick question. We know Glenwood Avenue is an area that frequently floods. Have you seen any evidence of that?
We haven't seen any of that to this point. It would need to be, I think, a lot of very heavy rain that lasted for some time to get to that point, if my memory serves me. But we have not seen anything at that point.
Yeah, waiting to see if anything. It depends on the rain. And these storms are moving so quickly, perhaps we won't see all that much rain.
Yeah, well, hopefully not.
For that.
Hopefully
yeah,
not.
right.
Yeah. Adam,
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Rosalie Federa is in Chapel Hill. Want to go back to her, Rose. What do you have coming up for us after the break?
We have a tree on some power lines here in Chapel Hill. It's blocking a major road. I'll tell you how this is affecting traffic and what other damage the city is seeing.
Back now in WRAL with a look at Dix Park, not far from the TV studio here at WRAL. You can see clouds there in the distance, and it is raining. We have a severe weather warnings from Raleigh northward and a severe weather watch, which covers the entire viewing area until 10 o'clock tonight.
All right, let's take you back out to Chapel Hill. Our Rosalia Federa has been there monitoring what city officials there are calling a really big problem. Rosalia, what kind of progress have you seen since we last checked in with you?
Catherine, since I've been here, Duke Energy actually just got on scene. They are looking up at this pole. Let me show you. This tree down here on Plant Road fell and hit these power lines. If I can take you above this tree, you can see those crews. They got here. They were surveying the area, and then they just got up there to take a look at that pole. Now this, as you can see, the tree is down on a side road, but those power lines are all over this area of East Franklin Street, which is causing all those problems because, as you know, it's a main road in this town. And coming down here, this isn't the only problem. The traffic lights on this street were also all out. So driving down all those intersections, it was a mess. But as you can see, I'm squinting now because the sun is out, and that's changed since I've gotten here. As I was driving in, it was pouring rain. And now I had to take my rain jacket off because it feels like summer again. It's that hot. But I was talking to a firefighter on scene, and he says there's a couple other trees down in the city. There's one leaning on a home not that far from here. That will be my next stop. And then there were some other trees down on some side roads. But this is the one causing the major issues because of where it is. So if you're coming down East Franklin Street anytime soon, you'll be turned around at Plant Drive and Plant Road, and Estes Drive. Back to you.
Yeah, and meteorologist Mike Mays was just watching your report, said it's going to get very steamy there in Chapel Hill as this storm system moves through. So you're dressed for it. Rosalia, thank you.
I want to go down to Sarah Kruger. She is live in Durham where a tree has fallen on a house. Sarah, tell us what you have there.
Gerald, I'm on Hugo Street, which is in North Durham, just north of 85. We just arrived, and I want to show you what we're looking at. You can see a tree, or what looks to be parts of a tree, down on the roof of this home. And I'm told by a neighbor that there were 2 people inside the home when this happened, but thankfully they are not hurt. I'm also told right now they cannot get out of their front door, and they also do not have power, but they are not trapped inside. They could get out the side or the back door if need be. This is that neighbor here, Eddie Santiago. So Eddie, tell me what you know about what happened here.
Well, I received a call at work from my sister who's at work herself. My mother, the same thing happened at our house not too long ago, and they were there for us. So I came rushing from work just to make sure he was all right. Turns out there's a big hole in the living room. They were in there watching TV. And thank God the worst of it is just the power was out. And I just told him if he needs me to call me and I'll come. And we're here for them just like they were here for us.
Wow. So they were watching TV and the tree came through the room they were in.
Yeah, so what they're trying to do is just make sure the power lines get fixed first. Then a friend of mine, Ramin, he has the Accurate renovating company, so he did our home. He also did some of his work last time when his got hurt. His house got damaged as well. But now they're just waiting so that they can put a tarp on so no water comes in. And they want to stay there, so they're going to bring generators so that they're going to have at least power for their food and whatever.
And I know you told me that there are 2 men in here, one of whom is disabled, but they're doing okay. They were not hurt in this?
No, they were not. They were not. They're actually taking it kind of well. They just want to have a couple drinks right now and relax, and hopefully the worst of it is over.
All right, Eddie, well, I know you're busy and you've still got work to do, so thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Take care, man.
Thank you so much. So again, we're on Hugo Street. This is in North Durham, where you just heard it from a neighbor. He says that this tree came down through this roof while there were 2 men inside watching TV, and it came through that room. So thank goodness, he says, neither of them was hurt. Now we are going to try to get a little bit closer to that house and try to talk to them. We'll bring you any updates as we get them. Gerald.
All right, thank you, Sarah Kruger, reporting live in Durham. See all those big mature trees in that community. That's the fear, is that those things, when they get wet and they're full of leaves and the wind starts blowing, yeah, that's when you see them fall like that.
But the good thing, no injuries, and you heard what he was saying, what that gentleman was saying. Neighbors helping neighbors. We see it every time there's a storm like this, and he said he just wants to be there for them. So that was great.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now. Julian Grace is driving on I-40 west toward Durham. We'll have a report from him coming up. Right now, you're looking live at downtown Raleigh, where storms are moving in.
Back now with our severe weather coverage here in WRAL. Julian Grace is in the breaking news tracker. He is on Interstate 40 heading west, heading toward Granville County. Julian, set the scene for us. What have you seen along your way?
Gerald, I want to tell you, we are now on 147 northbound, headed towards Granville County, as you stated a little bit earlier. And you know what? The skies appear to open up, and we are no longer seeing cloudy skies. That happened about 5 minutes or so ago once we got on 147 here. About 10 minutes before that, there was a pretty heavy downpour that lasted maybe about a minute or so, and then it cleared up. This is what we're looking at right now. But as we talked about, we are headed to Granville County, where there are reports of a number of trees down, and we are looking, trying to get to that area so we can see some of that destruction that is there. But right now on 147 northbound, just typical traffic along this stretch, Gerald.
I see southbound 147 seems a little slow. Nothing as you get back on I-40 going back toward Raleigh there? Is that just typical evening rush hour traffic?
Yes, Gerald, very typical evening rush hour traffic. Didn't notice anything odd or out of the ordinary. It just seems like people were getting off of work, heading home for the day. But when I stated earlier about that downpour, there was a downpour that happened. It was pretty heavy at one stretch, but it cleared up. It lasted maybe about a minute or so, and now the skies have opened up in this area for now.
All right, Julian Grace on 147 in the Breaking News Tracker. Thank you, Julian. We'll check back with you a little bit later.
We want to go back to Sarah Kruger right now, who is at the moment speaking with a homeowner who was inside that house when a tree fell. Let's listen in.
Live on WRAL. So could you start over and explain to us where you were and what happened?
I was at the front of the house, and that's where the tree hit in front of a picture window. And the tree came down, and I had just got up and headed toward the kitchen. If I had stayed there, I probably had got hit.
How frightened are you right now? Are you doing okay?
I'm not frightened. I'm just thinking about whether I'm gonna stay here tonight or find another place to stay.
Yeah. And have you been able to get outside yet and assess just how bad this damage is?
No, they told us not to walk up there because of the wires are touching everything. So all about over the truck and everything out there.
And it was both of you all who were here when this happened?
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch. He went in the kitchen, and the wind seemed to pick up all of a sudden, and I heard a boom, and I jumped up and ran into the kitchen because I saw the branch coming through the roof.
Wow. What did it sound like?
It was this huge boom, and everything just kind of crumbled around, you know. If you look in the living room, you can see the living room has got a lot of debris in it.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you all are okay. And I talked to your neighbor, Eddie Santiago, who says he left work, came to check on you all. What does that mean to have a neighbor like that?
Well, he's just a good neighbor. He's like family, you know. We've living to him next door to him for 20 years.
Pretty much all of this neighborhood is down on the 700 block are pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
They look out for each other.
Yeah.
What was your name, sir?
Oliver Collier.
C-O-L-L-I-E-R?
yes.
Okay, Oliver, thank you for your time.
And what's next for you all?
Well, they're going to get stuff to set up a generator and to take the branch off the roof and put a tarp on top of the roof. So we'll probably stay here tonight.
Do you mind showing us inside the house?
Yeah, you go in.
Okay.
Well, there you have a very fortunate homeowner there. Just moved, and the tree hit the home right after he moved. We see that a lot. People may be in a certain bedroom, and all of a sudden they leave the room, and a tree falls through the roof. Thank goodness that no one was hurt here.
Very close call there, but you know, the gentleman must be shaken up. It seems cool, calm, and collected.
Well, he's
you know.
That'll get your nerves going.
I can imagine it is. So as you can see, Sarah is taking a look inside that house to see some of the damage, and we'll check back in with her shortly.
We're going to take a quick break. You're looking live there at RDU International. The clouds have settled in there as well. Monica Liberty will join us after the break with some pictures and video from residents around the area. Stay with us. Once again, our live camera at RDU International. You know, weather like this has a tendency to affect flights arriving and departing from the airport. And today, well, it's probably going to be no different.
Yeah, Monica Liberty is in the live center tracking that. Monica?
That is the case. We're looking right now at the flight schedule for RDU International. These are all departing flights, and it's almost kind of interesting. Starting at 4:15, you can just see the list of delays there. The airport reporting officially right now at least 29 arrival delays, 34 departure delays, and it does appear that many of them at this point continuing all the way through the 5 o'clock hour. We'll keep an eye on that. And I also wanted to show you, I always just think this is so fascinating. This is FlightAware Flight Tracker. You can really see how the planes, so this is the live flight tracking right now of planes in the air over RDU International. You can see that right there. Look how it's completely clear, obviously, where all the storms are. You can see the planes there trying to sneak in. It looks like they're on that northwestern side. We'll keep an eye on it. Back to you.
Interesting, Monica. Thank you.
And we're starting to see the warnings expire in parts of the area. Mike's in the Weather Center. Mike, you anticipated this, right? Timing-wise, the Wake County and Chatham County, the warning is expiring?
Yeah, it expired at 4:45. We only have 3 counties now that are under warning. It's Nash, Edgecombe, and Halifax. They expire less than 15 minutes, and at that point, the worst of the weather, at least from Raleigh north, will be over. We're not done, though, because we are noticing more thunderstorms to our south and west that are becoming severe, especially, let me clear that off, especially this one over here in Randolph County. We still have the warnings up to the northeast. We'll start in this area first. The leading edge of the strongest winds now moving over into the Bertie County area, Windsor, moving into Martin County, so exiting our viewing area, but it's raining pretty heavily around Rich Square right now. Edgecombe County, Tarboro, Princeville, Hobgood, Leggett Speed, Macclesfield, Pine Tops, all getting some very heavy rainfall and some frequent lightning strikes, but the worst of the winds are now moving into Martin County. Well, let's pan to the southwest and move over Wake County. The warning has subsided. In fact, as that activity made its way into Wake County, it pretty much fell apart. We'll time-lapse this over the past hour so you can see what I'm talking about. We had the severe thunderstorm warning. It ended at 4:45. We also have an outflow boundary that was produced by these thunderstorms. It's this little blue line here that you see at the end of the time-lapse, and behind it, we're seeing new cells begin to form over parts of Harnett County and Johnston County. And as that outflow boundary continues to sag to the south, we'll likely see more showers and storms form. Let me go to the wide view and point out this cell over here in Randolph County that will be moving into Randolph or Chatham County shortly. And this is a severe thunderstorm warning. It is moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So let me do a storm track. And it will be entering western Chatham County shortly and will be affecting Goldston, Bear Creek, Siler City. So we're not done yet. It may be that our northern counties are done, but now that we're seeing more thunderstorms develop in our southern counties, it'll be more counties turn and Lee counties and Harnett and Fayetteville's within the next hour or two. Kat will have more about that timing coming up in a moment. But right now, as we head into the 5 o'clock hour, Siler City, this cell should be in your vicinity at 5:11. This has the potential to produce 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, small hail, and also some very heavy lightning strikes. And before I toss it over to Kat, let me go back to the wide view, clear all this off. We're watching this area here. Again, that'll be moving toward the east. And Kat's got more about that coming up. Kat?
Right, and we want to stress that, you know, those areas that haven't seen the rain yet, they are not done yet, because we do have this line of thunderstorms that's developing to our west, a little closer to Charlotte. It does have a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it right now. These storms are marching to the east around 55 miles per hour. So if we put a storm track on them, that would have the line of thunderstorms arriving in Sanford just before 6 p.m. It is about 4:45 p.m., so that's just over an hour away. In Fayetteville by 6:43, that's about 2 hours from now, and Smithfield closer to 6:48. And if it's able to hold together, we'll continue to see it move into Wayne County as well as Sampson County throughout the evening hours. So we want to stress that we are not done with the severe weather threat yet. And if you look at our temperatures right now for the communities that haven't seen the rain yet, Southern Pines, Irwin, Fayetteville, Clinton, Goldsboro, we're in the low to mid 90s. It is steamy hot outside, very humid, and that is going to act as some fuel as those thunderstorms approach from the west this afternoon and evening. Our severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 10 p.m. Everybody is still under the severe thunderstorm watch except Mecklenburg, Virginia. They have just been taken out of the watch. Still looking at the main potential being some damaging wind gusts as the line of thunderstorms moves through. One of our WRAL weather watchers, Dwayne Reeves, he's a popular storm chaser across North Carolina. He took this incredible photo in Person County earlier this afternoon and evening. You can see the heavy rain, the creepy looking cloud cover that's moving in. If you have gotten any photos of the storms or the storm damage in your area, After the storm has passed us through and it's safe to do so, please send this to us on our WRAL Weather Facebook page. We would love to share those on air, and it can help to warn others in the community about the dangerous storms that are heading their way. Futurecast, it's showing that line of storms moving out, but we are watching for additional development just to our west. By 6 o'clock, we start to see some of these storms moving into Hoke County as well as Moore County, closing in on Cumberland County between about 6:30 and 7:15, eventually moving into Sampson County and Wayne County between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight. After that, we'll have a front clear the area, and beautiful weather is in store for tomorrow. It is going to be a little bit less humid tomorrow, a high of 87 for the official start of summer. We're expecting mainly dry weather as we head into the early part of the weekend.
And Kat, this second round of thunderstorms, any reason to believe it won't be just as powerful as the first round that came through?
It will be just as powerful for the areas that haven't already been hit by storms. You know, as it comes through, it could bring some additional rain to areas that have already seen the storms. But if you haven't seen any thunderstorms yet, your atmosphere is still ripe for these storms to hold that same power as they move through.
No one is going to escape this today. All right, thank you, Kat.
We're going to take a quick break. As we do, we want to take you out to Wilson, where you can see the Whirligig Park. The wind is blowing there as this storm front moves through. We'll be right back.
We have seen numerous trees down as this storm system moves through the northern part of our viewing area. One of those trees fell on a house in Durham. WRAL's Sarah Kruger is there. And Sarah, since we talked to you last, you've been actually inside the house to see what, if any, damage is in there. What did you see?
Gerald, exactly. I can tell you that the tree came through the roof of the home, but not quite all the way through the ceiling. But if you look at the size of this tree, the homeowners here are incredibly fortunate. There were two of them inside the living room. They say they were watching TV when this came crashing down, as you can imagine, giving them quite the startle, making a loud boom. Now there are a number of wires down here, so power crews will be on the way to fix that. The roofing company already out here, and you can see just the force of this tree here, how it has completely crumpled this recycling bin here. It looks like it mostly missed the truck that is behind here, but certainly did cause damage to this home, and the homeowners are still assessing how bad all of that will be. Gerald.
And the good thing, and of course, no one hurt. And we've heard of no injuries so far in our area with this storm system. Let's hope it stays that way. Thank you, Sarah.
All right, we're going to go to Raleigh now. Aaron Thomas is on Cowper Road. Aaron, what are you seeing?
Hey there, Catherine. We're just arriving here on scene, and as you can see, there's this huge tree behind me. It's, pretty much covering all these this people's yard. We just, as I said before, we just arrived and spoke with the neighbor who lives here. She says that she's never seen anything like this since Hurricane Fran. If you just, go back, that was, many years ago, back in the 90s. And if you take a closer look here where this tree is, you can see that it's actually covering up some of the power lines. So for anybody that's in this area, you of course want to stay away from this, as it still obviously may have some power and electricity in here. And then going a little bit further down this way on Cowper Drive, we do notice some Raleigh police officers that are blocking off this road as a safety measure. And then throughout Cowper Drive here, we've noticed some sticks. And here where I'm standing now, you can obviously see some of the leaves that are spilled everywhere. And just in a moment, we're going to be speaking with the homeowners that live here, right where this tree ended up. Send it back to you in the studio.
Boy, what a mess out there.
Yeah.
Aaron, thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. You're watching severe weather coverage on WRAL News. We have a lot going on this afternoon and into this evening. A severe weather watch for the entire viewing area until 10 o'clock tonight. Stay with us.